Tesla is absolutely the king when it comes to electric cars. If you want to buy a great electric car, actually, if you want to buy the best car, Tesla is the only company that will sell you one of those, and that has been like this for a while. I myself, and I'm on my third. This is my third and only right now Model S Tesla, and despite all of the issues, whether in the beginning or what's been happening now with production and delivery issues and maybe reliability issues and service issues and all of that stuff, despite all of that, if you want to own this amazing car, a Tesla, you're gonna have to just kind of put up with all of the inconveniences, and basically it's kind of like with an iPhone in the beginning, right? But as you know, things have been changing with Kia Niro EV coming on the market very soon, with a Kona EV from Hyundai is pretty much being sold right now. It's not coming to US just yet. Things are changing, and this week, the news just full of very interesting alternatives that are coming our way. The comment of the day is also kind of about what might be happening with Tesla sales in the future. So I just wanted to talk about, I don't know if we're getting closer to the end of 2018, and 2020 is not that far off anymore. It's kind of really just about a year between that, and all those models that are promised to us in 2020 are closer now than we think. So I just wanted to talk about this and tell you guys what's happening with Tesla, what's happening with other manufacturers. There are a few news, and see if we really definitely would love your opinion about this as well. If you think Tesla is going to continue to be the king in a couple of years, or it will kind of have to share the crown. Let's talk about it all coming up next. Welcome to those of you who are watching me live on Patreon. Some of you are watching me live for the first time. Welcome. And if this is your first time here at E4 Electric and you want to keep up to date on everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, well, go ahead and click on the subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, let's talk Tesla. And this is me, very happy with my car. This is my third one. I've been an owner since 2012. I also own a Volt now, sort of as my commuter car. But as you know, and as I definitely know, from the very beginning, getting a Tesla has been a problem, an issue a lot of times, because you kind of have to order it and wait for it, and you don't really know when it's coming. Right now, there are a lot of complaints that people who have their Model 3s on deliveries are not able to get them on time, and that creates some issues where they don't know when to sell their current ones, how to time their current leases and so forth. Unfortunately, a lot of times they either become unhappy, and therefore that kind of damages their relationship with the brand, or they essentially choose something else to go with a different brand. Model S, I've been shopping for a new Model S, and I realized that essentially the same car will cost me almost $10,000 more by January than it was only a couple of years ago. And that kind of makes a difference, especially in my situation now. So that might change my mind as well. Well, so Elon tweeted out this today in response to somebody who was disappointed with the fact that his car did not pass and an inspection, I guess, and they basically did not have an ETA on when he's actually going to get it. And Elon basically said that their bottleneck right now is their paint department, and because the cars go through a lot of quality assurance steps, the ones that don't come through, they will not gonna let them out like that. They'll either going to replace stuff, repaint, or I've never seen him say this before, replace the entire car. Now, I'm not gonna get into why when you talked about it, that obviously it looks like the percentage of cars that don't pass the inspection the first time is really high for Tesla right now, but I would just call it normal right now because they're ramping up the production of a very new model of the very new technology. So I'm okay with that. But it does create a lot of people who are basically might just opt out to not get one, except for what else are you going to get right now? Nothing. We're just gonna have to wait. If you want this amazing car, you're just gonna have to wait. And unfortunately for Tesla, they either have to kind of get their stuff together and streamline, and the customer service afterwards have been not so good. Some of the things that break a lot, like my car has been going through, all three of my cars have trouble all the time. I just had another bad experience. I actually requested a Tesla loaner. I showed up, drove 25 minutes just for them to tell me that they don't have any Tesla loaners, and I had to drive back. Not cool, because this is the 5th time I'm trying to fix this brakes issues that have been happening with the car. But I'm dealing with it because I'm still driving the best car out there. However, things are going to change. I already said that Niro and Kona are going to be game changers as far as getting a lot of customers probably away from Teslas. Some of them who may still prefer Tesla, but just run out of time on when they just need a new car, and those are now very viable and much more affordable choices. But let's talk about a couple of other cars that are coming up, actually 3 next month. But before that, just want to remind you, of course, is that the show and this channel is sponsored by iNext, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla that are much more available on their website. It is a discount code in the description of this video. Go ahead and grab it so you can save yourselves a few bucks. So really appreciate it. And by the way, let me know in the comment section if you use the code and what you actually got with your discount. All right, let's move on to something that is I haven't covered recently by BMW iNext. And this is the kind of the teaser sketch that we have. Well, they just released a bunch of videos because they are taking this car on tour. They now have a concept car, and they partner up with Lufthansa. They're gonna put this concept car in a cargo plane and go on a little tour. I think 4 destinations. I was like, I don't know how many cities. 4 cities, including here in San Francisco. This is, and by the way, this is the budget for this unveiling seems to be much bigger than anyone that I think I've seen, because this takes a lot. They've also released a bunch of videos like this, basically about kind of a design videos, and you can see some of what's probably coming, and that's pretty exciting. I mean, they really are taking this seriously, putting some major money into it. I've reported that BMW had put actually billions of dollars at this point, committed billions of dollars, just like a lot of other mainstream manufacturers. And this is the car that they are now. This one is gonna be in 2021 is when it's coming out. But the fact that they're already doing this concept tour, it really says that they are going with it, and they're definitely committing to resources and many other things. Now, as you know, in September, I'm also going to be attending an Audi E-TRON SUV unveiling, which is a very decent, great, good looking, with a great range, 250 miles SUV. I'm going to be going there, and they are going to be in production very, very soon. And Mercedes-Benz just released yet another teaser video. This is pretty much the most important frame from the one today. They're going to be unveiling EQC, their SUV that they've been testing for a while now. This is also going to be a major competitor, obviously, to Tesla and to everybody, really. It's going to be a great car. Now, this is what it used to look like when it was just a concept. So very similar, less of all those LED lights, but I think it's pretty, I like it. I definitely like it. Now, even though I was invited to the unveiling to go all the way to Sweden, that would be pretty cool. I had to decline because I'm actually, and I've been talking about it, but now actually I have a little bit of a flyer here. I'm moderating 3 different panels during the TechCrunch Disrupt at the Biden's booth, and this is the first one, which is essentially going to be about the UX experience in cars nowadays, which I think is very important, and I love the fact that they're doing it. I'll be moderating it with he's the head of product for Alexa Auto at Amazon, the VP of Intelligent Car Experience at Byton, CEO of Takeon, and VP of Research for Bosch. So pretty good panel I'll be moderating, and there will be 2 more. So if you're at the TechCrunch Disrupt, go ahead and stop by. So because of that, I'm not able to fly to Sweden, attend the unveiling of the Mercedes EQC, and then fly back. Just not enough time. But I will definitely cover it, and this is definitely something that is going to be major competition. Now, at the same time, Tesla has been taking this little baby on tour, and there are quite a few stops. I didn't want to cover every single one of them. This one particular is at R1, and this is their CEO posing with a car. They put a blog post on their website, so they're very excited about it. The semi has been stopping by, and a lot of potential clients and clients who already have reservations. So this project is also that's going to be a major disruption, really, if you will, in the automotive industry. So just to kind of balance it out, as you can see, Tesla keeps making the progress, but the competition is actually catching up. Let me know in the comment section. I think this is exciting times we live in. I don't know what's going to happen in 2020. I would say that Tesla will still be the king. I think it will take a while, even for the main manufacturers, with all the billions and billions of dollars and marketing and loyal customer bases and factories. I think it will be a while until they will catch up to Tesla. So I'd say by 2020, Tesla will still be the king, but there will be alternatives for people like me who's already gone through 5 or 6 years of all the kind of inconveniences and other things that you have to go through in order to drive a Tesla. And I'm kind of ready to move on to something more where I have to care less about how much time and effort I have to spend about getting a car, maintaining the car, worrying about it breaking down, and so forth. So there will be alternatives for us, and I'm really excited just in general about the technology. Again, let me know in the comment section if you're maybe a Tesla owner who's considering one of these new cars that are coming out. And of course, there are tons of startups like Byton and Neo, and I don't know that actually there's so many of them blacking out. But the Faraday Future is back in the game. Obviously, they just released their first engineering prototype, so it is extremely exciting. Let me know. Now, the comment of the day today is going to kind of be shooting in the heart of this Tesla issue, and as someone who is already went ahead and kind of decided to go with an alternative over Tesla. Now, I guess I'm one of them as well, because I had 2 Model S cars, and I'll most likely be renewing one of them that you saw in a picture there, the white one. But the other one I just sold and I replaced it with a Chevy Volt, which solves my problem of ever having to use a supercharger when I'm traveling long distance. Will I have to use tiny little portion of gas? Yes, and that's very unfortunate. But that is a solution for many other people at a much smaller price point, which again, if you're very well off, may not be a problem, but people like myself and a lot of people watching is a problem, and it's a great solution to have a plug-in hybrid. I only use gas actually when I went to Monterey Car Week to cover it for you guys. I have not used gas in my daily drives with a Chevy Volt, which I really like, and I will do a video on that. Let me remind you also, before I go to the comment of the day, that tomorrow I will post an interview with Mate Rimac, the CEO founder of Rimac. I caught up with him during the Monterey Car Week, particularly this event, the Quails event. We'll take another look at the car up close and personal, the Rimac Concept 2. I talked to Mate about that, and I also just generally, I like asking these guys who are kind of in charge of this movement, right? He is definitely one of them, what they think where everything's going, what it takes for all of us to start finally seriously, moving into the new era of the electric cars. As you can see, it's not a bad car for inside for the hypercar. Beautiful paint, obviously at a $2 million price tag, but not to worry, they pretty much all sold out at this point. Even though I think just the options for this car that most people chose was like $600,000, just the option on top of what the base price of the car is. This is the concept. This is the concept 1 that I saw earlier that day in Monterey. So that was also a treat. So they're really on their second version of their hypercars. And I am simply stalling just so you guys can see me chatting with Mate. There you go. That's going to be an exciting interview. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead. This is the best time to hit the subscribe button. This interview will come out tomorrow. Yeah, also lots of Patreons lately. Let me just give a quick shout out to Kevin Sharpie. Thank you so much for joining the double of the maximum tier there that I do have a tier for if you have a business if you want to advertise here on the show. Definitely check it out on Patreon. You get to watch me live, and we're gonna do the extra mile as usually I do every day, just kind of interacting just with my Patreons, which is great. Bruce Harrison also became a Patreon. You can become a Patreon for just $1 and support the show. I really appreciate it. Let's move on. So James Albury was already Patreon for more than a top tier at $6. Switch it to 8. I'm wondering, James, is this a lucky number kind of a thing? And is that why I did it? But I appreciate the extra $2. Everything helps. I really, really do. And the last but not least, Chris Smith also became Patreon at just $3. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Our community on Patreon is growing. As you can see, we actually have a chat going on right here, which I will get back to soon as we get this going. But let me move on to the comments of the day. And the comment of the day kind of goes to the heart of what we've been talking about, and which is, so it's come from Vesa. And he says, he talks about Elon, being a genius and yet doing some, very silly things on Twitter. Let's not talk about that. I think I've dedicated enough time to that. But he says, I have taken action partly because of this rampant tweeting. I ordered a Hyundai Kona electric. So, and this is obviously individual choices. I've already made mine. Again, I decided not to go with another Tesla Model S at a much higher price tag than the exactly same Model S I bought 3 years ago. I decided to go with a plug-in hybrid, which to me was much more affordable and just better solution that also solves my dislike of waiting at superchargers when I'm traveling, especially at night. But there will be more and more people like Vesa because the frustration is growing, not just with maybe Elon himself, because essentially the product has nothing to do. If you buy in a Tesla, you don't have to like Elon Musk, right? But the fact that a lot of people can't time the purchase of a Model 3 per se, or the deliveries get changed and people end up without a car for 1 or 2 months, or the fact that if you get in a car accident, you have to wait 2-3 months sometimes to get a part, and your insurance doesn't cover the rental car, which usually is gas. The service appointments being really far out there. So a lot of this stuff is getting on the way of people who before didn't have an alternative. Now, Vesa decided that, hey, Hyundai Kona EV is a great alternative for him, which it is. I mean, let's remember, it's about 30,000 American dollars around that mark, especially if you have incentives where you live. And it's got a great, what are we talking about, 220, 250 realistically mile range. And yeah, this is something that's going to start happening to Tesla, and that's natural. The question is how many people will switch or never become a Tesla customer versus how many people will stick around, because again, I believe for the next 2 years for sure, Tesla will still continue being the #1 car ever made, period. They are awesome. It's just a matter of getting the thing and then what you can do for it and what your budget is. But there will be more and more people like Vesa, and that's why I wanted to feature his comment. And again, just kind of looking forward to what you guys are thinking, and maybe what situation you are in, and whether or not you will be picking Tesla or maybe an alternative when you have, at the point where you have to make that decision. So, all right. So don't forget, I'll be at the TechCrunch Disrupt on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tomorrow, interview with Mate Rimac, which will be pretty cool as well. Promise you that. And the chat keeps going. And I will be talking to James and a few other Patreons that are in the chat right now. Other than that, have a great weekend. The videos over the weekend will be released as usual. Mate Rimac and yet another video from the Motor Car Week. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged. Oh. All right.